The opposition People's National Party has signaled that it is not in support of a 3-month extension of a state of public emergency in Clarendon and St. Catherine. Yesterday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness moved a motion in Parliament for a 3-month extension to the state of public emergency, which was declared on September 5. But opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips said in the absence of a critical information from the government about the conduct of a state of public emergency, he is only proposed to extend the measures by 3 weeks. Dr. Phillips also added that the opposition is only insisting that the opening and closing of businesses must be changed. Dr. Phillips says in the way we are proceeding, we are making people who want to be safer, who are prepared to support the measures, feel like these measures can only be done if they sacrifice themselves. A taxi driver and a bus operator who were arrested last Friday by officers attached to the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch for having over 1,100 unpaid traffic tickets were convicted and fined when they appeared in the Kingston and St. Andrew Traffic Court. The taxi operator, 26-year-old Cleveland Duckery of Arnett Gardens, who appeared on 100 outstanding tickets, was fined $49,000 or serve 1 week in prison. His license was suspended for 3 years, and he is to return to court on September 26 to answer to forgery charges. The bus operator, 55-year-old Rohan Williams, was fined $405,000 or serve 30 days in prison. He was remanded in custody to answer to another set of traffic violations from 2015 to 2017. The Kingston East Police have listed 4 men from Kingston 16 who they say are wanted for murder committed in the division. The men are Jelani Green of a Dunkirk address, 23 years old Siddiqui Mendez, otherwise called Preps of Graham Street, 51 years old Dean Cook, otherwise called Bobby of McIntyre Villa, and 40 years old Dwayne Willis, otherwise called Pops, also of McIntyre Villa. The Kingston East Police say the men should turn themselves over today, and also that anyone with information that can assist in the apprehension of these men to call the Alliston Road Police at 876-928-4200, Crime Stop 311, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. The man who was arrested for the 2012 murder of a deputy chief of security at Jamaica Post, Barrington Davis, and his girlfriend Patricia Lamont Barneswell was sentenced to 2 life imprisonment when he appeared in the Home Circuit Court yesterday. The accused Mervyn Cameron, who was found guilty in May, was sentenced to serve 35 years on each count of murder before being eligible for parole. Also, he is to serve 7 years hard labor for 2 counts of robbery with aggravation and 7 years hard labor for 2 counts of kidnapping. Davis and Lamont Barneswell were kidnapped from their home in St. John's Heights, St. Catherine, in August 2012, and their bodies later found with gunshot wounds in a cane field. Recently, His Worship Omar Davis, Mayor of Montego Bay, came under fire from gay rights group Moby Pride after he turned down an application made by the movement for them to use the Montego Bay Cultural Centre in Sam Shop Square, Montego Bay, St. James, to host a series of events. Following his decision, which was supported by Councillor Charles Sinclair, rights groups such as the Jamaican Coalition for a Healthy Society and the Love Movement have come forward and commended Mayor Davis on his decision to protect the heritage of the Montego Bay Cultural Center. The rights groups chastise Montego Bay Pride, lesbian and gay movement for planning its agenda at a time when Jamaicans are celebrating their national heroes. During a press release, the rights group says they consider this move to be of poor taste on the part of the Montego Bay Pride movement. Those were your top stories making a local trending news. Now join us for news from across the region as well as our international story, sports and a local weather forecast. From across the region, Bermuda's government called up troops and urged people to stay off the streets as the British Atlantic territory prepared for a close brush today with Hurricane Humberto, a powerful Category 3 storm. Authorities ordered early closing of schools, clinic and government offices. Governor John Rankin called up 120 members of the Royal Bermuda Regiment to prepare for possible storm recovery efforts, and National Security Minister Wayne Keynes urged everyone to be off the streets by 5 p.m. Officials expected tropical storm force winds to soon begin whipping at the island of some 70,000 people, and warned that hurricane force gusts would probably last until early Thursday. James Dodgeson, director of Bermuda Weather Service, said the storm was projected to pass about 80 miles to the north of Bermuda around 8 p.m. this evening and could produce tornadoes and dangerous storm surges. In international news, Oklahoma Department of Correction officials said today that numerous weapons, cell phones, and drugs have been found by investigators following a series of apparently coordinated fights at 6 state prisons that left 1 inmate dead, dozens injured, and prisons statewide locked down. A lot of shanks, broken broom handles, broken faucets, faucet heads that have a cord attached to them. According to department spokesman Matt Elliott, the types of weapon inmates typically use and fight with. Bobby Cleveland, director of the Oakland Correctional Professionals and Association for Prison Employees, said the fights had to be coordinated effort, noting that they included minimum security lockups. Cleveland said inmates can use contraband cell phones to coordinate attacks among prisoners at other facilities. Elliott said all 24 state and 3 private prisons remain locked down indefinitely following the weekend fights at the prison in Veneta, Homney, Sierra, Fort Supply, Lawton, and Stringtown. Over in our sporting report, Manchester High won their 4th straight game, and William Knibb Memorial extended their winning start to 3 games after contrasting scorelines against Carteret College and Cedric Titus High, respectively, in the Inter-Secondary School Sports Association ISA award at the Costa Cup football competition yesterday. Dane Golden scored a double for Manchester in their 6-1 victory in Zone F, while Krista J. Daly scored his 7th goal as William Knibb Memorial clipped Cedric Titus 1-0 to stay top in Zone C. 5 other schools will be seeking to maintain perfect win records today when the competition continues with 22 games. Seaford High are going after a 4th straight win in Zone O. Anchovy High in Zone A, former champions Racine High, and Frome Technical in Zone B, and Anoto Bay High in Zone J are trying to win a 3rd straight game. Today, Seaford High, who have scored 11 goals in their 3 wins so far, will host 2nd place Paul Bogle High. Seaford are unbeaten against them over their last 7 meetings. Paul Bogle High had won their first 2 games before being held 1-1 by St. Thomas Technical on Saturday. Racine High and Frome Technical are expected to maintain their records with wins in their games against Green Island and Merle Aunty High, respectively. Green Island are coming off a big 7-1 win over Merle Aunty and will be confident of pulling off an upset. But Racine High have started the season on a tear, scoring 15 goals in 2 games. Anchovy will be full of confidence against Cornwall College, and that will be without starting goalkeeper Peter Sinclair, who was sent off in their 3-2 win over St. James High on Saturday. Cornwall College leads Zone A with 7 points, 1 more than Anchovy, who are yet to concede a goal, but have won both games 1-0 margin. Anoto Bay High will host last place Tacky High in their first meeting in Zone J since 2015. Anoto Bay, who played mostly in Zone L until they were moved back in Zone J this season, have so far had things easy, scoring 10 goals and conceding just once. In Zone G, Alston High will seek a 7th straight win over joint leaders Knox High in what is shaping up to be another close contest for the 2 spots. Both the schools and Homewood Technical, all on 7 points, are separated only by goal difference. Homewood are at home to Christiana High today. After dropping their first points of the season on Saturday, St. Elizabeth Technical High and Mannings High will both seek to get back to winning ways today. St. Elizabeth Technical will host Sydney Pagan High in Santa Cruz and could take over the lead in Zone E from Monroe College as long as they can avoid a loss. Zone D leaders Mannings will be at home to Grange Hill in Savannah Lamar and are expected to stay ahead of 2nd place Maud McLeod, who are away to Godfrey Stewart. On our local weather forecast, insignificant feature, a trough across Jamaica. The trough is expected to remain across Jamaica over the next few days. The forecast for this afternoon will see some scattered showers and thunderstorms across most parishes. Partly cloudy across northern parishes tonight. Minimum temperature expected for Kingston as well as Montego Bay is 26 degrees Celsius. That was BOJTV's trending news, your top local, regional, and international stories, as well as sports report and weather forecast. Until next time, I'm Carla.